Hello, I am live. Kelly Bear here. I am jumping on to, I have energy but not focus. And so rather than waste the energy by just bimbling about on the social media, I thought I would just do a live. I've got a nice cup of tea here. I've got, it's a very berry mix. So it's very sweet and fruity and a little tangy, a little tart. But yeah, I was going to show. Well, first of all, I finished the round deck, the round Albano weight. I managed to finish that during my Call of Cthulhu game. I like to have something to do whilst playing because we're sat down for several hours and I struggle with focus, and I find it easier to concentrate if I'm doing something else, if that makes sense. So often I will draw up some sketches and then colour them in during the game, or I will sew, or I will, shuffle cards. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to show you, hear that? Some charms. But first of all, about 10 minutes ago, hello Christina, lovely to see you. About 10-15 minutes ago, before I made the cup of tea, I saw someone had posted something, someone that I follow on Instagram, because I'm having a Facebook and sort of Twitter break this week at least. Hello Exploring Tarot, welcome. And I saw something that really surprised me because I was really surprised by my reaction to it, I should say. I had a very visceral reaction, and I had seen that Kim Kardashian had worn Marilyn Monroe's Happy Birthday dress, the one that she sang Happy Birthday to John F. Kennedy to the Met Gala. And it made me feel physically sick. Like, Marilyn Monroe was a socialist, and although she made a fair amount of money, she was never materialistic. In fact, when she died, it was commented upon how sparse her home was and how few possessions she wasn't that interested in material possessions. And I remember reading somewhere that there was, I think it was one of the books about her life that I've read, about she had a few treasured possessions just sort of kept in like a plastic carrier bag, and it just really breaks my heart. But yeah, it just made me feel sick, and that Kim Kardashian had to lose like 16 or 18, however many pounds to fit into it, and she still doesn't look that good. Like, just the disrespect. I just have Marilyn Monroe is a big deal for me, so I don't know, let the woman rest in peace, leave her dress alone. Kaz, hello, lovely to see you. Chatters and lurkers, I like that. Yeah, because it says there's 6 people in and 3 have said hi, and that's fine. I don't mind if people want to lurk. Not everyone wants to get involved in the chat, that's all right. So yeah, I was gonna, well, first of all, let's have a wee look at this. I made this little pouch for it whilst I was in the, because someone said, are you going to make a pouch for it in the live that I did on Friday? And I was like, no, but I was thinking like my classic style of pouch. But in the end, I just sort of whipped this up together really quickly whilst playing the game. It was all freehand. I was just style cutting it and sewing it. It's like really roughly done. But it's, think of it as like a toile, a first draft. Don't do card trash tins. Yeah, I have no interest in them. I find them vulgar and gross. It says the woman that swears like a sailor, but you know what I mean. Like, Tammy Pie, hello. Veronica, I'm listening while whistling. Fuck me, can I read? I'm so classy. Listening while feeding the cats. Lucky kitty cats. Yum, yum, yum. Meow, meow mix. So yeah, I finished the deck. I did all the minors whilst playing my game. I don't know if I'm like 100% happy with every single choice that I made, but you know what? It's fine. It is. I'm listening while feeding husbands. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't read with it yet. I haven't had a chance to. Come on. There we go. The King of Cups. 3 of Pence. So yeah, I mean, I think I made fairly good decisions on a lot of them. Focus. Come on. Nope, it doesn't like, the camera doesn't like that card. It didn't like the choice I made. Yeah, 8 of Wands. I mean, obviously there's not 8 Wands caught in the circle, but we know what it is, right? So yeah, it's so wee. Hi Isabel. It's so tiny. It's so cute. So yeah, and it still makes me think of Pogs every time I look at it. So yeah, that's my little one. But yeah, charms. So I use charms on my bags, right? It's like a thing. It's like a little trademark of mine on my bags. And occasionally I've put some that I really like if I've got like an odd one left, or I've got a bunch of them and I'm like, well, I could take one of these and put it aside, and to like make a charm casting set. But what always happens is eventually I'm like making a pouch and I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't have any of those such and such charms left. Maybe there's one in my little jar of charms, and I'm like, yep, there it is. And then before I know it, I have no collection of charms. So I think it was on Saturday, maybe Sunday, I can't remember when it was. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to make a concerted effort to collect some charms aside for charm casting, like proper charm casting. And I've just realized this is my charm set aside for the pouches that I'm currently making. Oh my god, I am so tired. I'm so sorry. My brain is like, I should have made myself a regular caffeinated tea, not a herbal one. This is the box. As what I'm looking at this going, I'm sure I put more aside than this. Yeah, I did. They're for the pouches I'm going to cut later. Don't. So yeah, they're for the other pouches. Right. So we have a selection of things. Hi Shauna, you all right? They're cute. The bag is gorgeous. Can totally see you in a vintage mystical shop years and years from now. Oh my god, part of my, like, I have these dreams that if I like came into a lot of money, I would buy this whole building, renovate it from top to bottom, and I live above a shop, but it's not a shop anymore. And I would reconfigure the whole ground floor to be a shop like it was, and like turn it into a metaphysical and occult store with like occult books and spooky shit and a tarot reader. And I would also have the rest of the floor, I would have another floor, so then that would mean that my spouse and I could have a room each to work in. So he could have one for his music stuff, I could have one to do art, and like I have my own studio space, and then this could be just like just bedroom. That's the dream. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'd love that. So I'm just going to show you what I've put aside, and I'm just and you know what I think? Hi Phoebe. I think one of the things that and Pamela's here. Hello Pamela. Lots of cool chicks here already. Yeah, totally. Liz teaches how to make tarot pouches, Kelly Bear, and are they hand sewn? They are 100. All my pouches are hand cut and hand sewn, one of a kind items. So Kelly, would you believe if I told you that I switched out a charm on one of your pouches to a more accurate photo? No, not at all. I wouldn't be offended at all, Shauna. This your once you've got it, it's yours. It's there for you to do as you wish. As same with tarot decks, right? I've always wanted to do that vintage consignment art studio, metaphysical, glorious. Yeah, that would be awesome. So yeah, I think another thing that sort of made me a little more leery about collecting charms is I was like, I have to know which charms I want to get. I have to assign meanings to each of them. And I was very sort of sitting in that, like the way that Kelly Fitz does hers, where she has charms that represent each of the Lenormand cards and then a bunch of other stuff as well. And I was like, no, if I want Lenormand, I'm just going to use Lenormand. So let's not worry about that, and not worry about Lenormand meanings either. And I'm just like, let's just collect stuff and charms. So one of the things is not a charm, it's a thimble. This is a thimble. It's actually a bit too big for me, which is why I've put it in, because I think this was bequeathed to me on inheriting some tools in my old job when I first joined the designer that I worked for. Someone was leaving or something, and they not long after, and they had like a box of pattern cutting and sewing bits and bobs, and one of them was their thimble, and they're like, oh, I never use it, and they popped it in my little box, but also it doesn't fit me. But when I left that job, did I take my box of things? Oh yes, I fucking did. So yeah, I can't really use it. I mean, so I'm like, well, it can go in the charm box. So there's thimble. I've got a stone that is from Scotland, from the Highlands. There's like a particular type of glacial mountains and this is from there. You can see the striations from all the layers, from all the different ice and things, which is cool. Hi Sandra, you all right, my love? Deanne, where's Deanne? Deanne's popped in as well. I've got a little bow. I sometimes put these bows on my little pouches. I put in a pom-pom because I love me some pom-poms, a little lime green. The light is not doing it justice. It's like full-on hard, no, that's even worse. It's like a full-on hardcore lime green. Meow. Lime green. No, it's too washed out. What if I change the temperature of the light? No, that's a little bit better. Let's just go with that. But it's like it's a fuck off lime green, basically. Goes well with my like little psychobilly outfit. I've got a dice. I just took one of the dice from my like tabletop gaming bunch of dice that I have. I have tons of dice. I've got like a little silky rose. Again, I sometimes put these on my pouches. Just one of those ribbon roses. I'm sure we've all seen those before. This little thing that a friend had tied to a present of mine. I'm not quite sure. It just looks like a little angry wooden person. But I just thought it was cute. And I've been hanging on to it. And I was like, oh, it can go in the focus, you bugger. I'm like, it can go on the... You can kind of see it. This was an earring. It's like a golden autumnal maple leaf. You Canadians there. Exploring Tarot, saying hi to Shauna. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. I use a little stone for the mountain in my Lenormand charm set that I created. Oh, that's a lovely idea, Christina. Cool. I've got just a little purple button, lilac button. I've got a plastic skull. A little bell. I got a pink one instead of one of my silver ones because I thought I wanted to have like a bit of color, not just like silver and gold and brass charms. One of my rings, a ring I found in the dinner hall at secondary school when I was 11 years old, and no one claimed it, so I got to keep it. And I wore this for years. It was my first like piece of grown-up jewelry, and I found it. And the teacher was like, no one's claimed it. And she's like, who knows where it's... She said it could have been kicked about that dinner hall for bloody months. And, you know, I just saw it glinting out the corner of my eye while I was queuing for lunch one day. And it's got very faint sort of markings on it. And it's solid, it's real silver. And I was like, oh, treasure. So yeah, so I've got an actual ring. I've got the bones that go with the skull. X marks the spot, right? That's what I was thinking. I'm like also a bit obsessed with pirate stuff because I'm rewatching already Our Flag Means Death because I love it. I've got an American penny just because if it's an English penny, I'd probably want to spend it. I've got like American money left over from trips and I always just put it aside in case I go back. So there's an American penny. I've got a match, but it's from a matchbook. I want to get like an actual like traditional match, but I didn't have any left at the moment. So one from a matchbook will have to do. It's not burnt. It's still usable. I've got this little plastic gem heart rather than a... Oh. Bit of tat, isn't it? I've got a safety pin. I use safety pins a lot when in my outfit. I've got a paper clip. I went for a yellow one just to add in some more colour. I've got an actual dress pin taken from my little coffin that I use when I'm making pouches. I made this a few years ago. I love it. It's my little coffin dress pin. I was like, I'll make these for my shop, and then I was like, no one will buy these, so I just didn't because like people are there for like tarot stuff. But I like my one anyway. So yeah, dress pin. I'm showing you mostly the non-charmy charms. Okay, everything else left is like actual charms. So you'll recognize these because these have been used on my pouches. We've got an owl, brass owl. Shout out to anyone who's got pouches that have these on them. I've got a magic wand. again, I had a silver and bronze of these, and I just went for the bronze again, just so there's a mixture of colors, so it's not all just silver or gold. I've got a compass. That's a pretty self-explanatory one in a charm casting. Who here does charm casting, and do you use it on its own? Do you use it with with tarot or oracle, like throwing down on top of cards like Kelly Fitz does? I think, does Candy do that as well? And then, or do you throw charms and then pull cards, which I've seen people do? Or yeah, and like what kind of things do you use in your charm set? Do you just use charms, like actual charms, or do you pop in other things like little crystals or pins or little toys, you know? This is a sun, and the reason I've pulled this one is because I can't use it for a pouch because it's got one of the points missing, and it's either broken off or the cast didn't come out correctly. Oh shit, the cast didn't come out correctly, and so come on, you bugger, come on. Veronica Judah saying casting sheets help. Yeah, so you mean like something that's, you throw down something that's got like circles or squares, quadrants, different meanings. Yeah, I think I've seen some that are like super prescriptive. I was watching one this morning during breakfast where a woman had created she was selling them a casting cloth for charms, and it was very, very it was divided into loads, like a wheel spokes, loads of different not quarters, loads of different segments, like a pizza with tons of little slices. You know what I mean? Like a but I didn't like all the sections, and also I didn't like some of the names of the sections, felt a bit culturally appropriative, and I was like, I can appreciate the idea. I really like that Kelly Fitz's like journey tokens casting cloth that she had collaborated to have made, where it's got, you can have 3 or 4 sections divided, and then the concentric rings. I think that's what I would probably start with. I don't know. Maybe it's like just getting a couple of different cloths and trying different things out. Carrie Paris has free ones on her website. Oh, that's cool. I don't have a printer though, which is a shame. But for me, I think I'd want to cast onto fabric because the sound would like my eyeballs and my ears. I don't hear with my eyes. That's, oh my god. Yes, journey cards and tokens, says Deanne. Do you have and use both of those? Because I only have the tokens. They're actually just down there with my runes. And so we've got a unicorn. Gotta have a unicorn. And also, if you're going to have a unicorn, did I put a Pegasus in? Did I? No, I didn't. I thought I'd put a Pegasus in. I had not. I've got an Eye of Providence, or All-Seeing Eye. Come on. This is the new one of my new charms. I've been enjoying making pouches with this. I made a Thoth with this pouch. A Thoth pouch, a large Thoth pouch with this on it. And like a really lovely, I think it was a purple Thoth pouch with a lime green velvet ribbon and this, and it was just yum. Or maybe it was the other way around. Green, that was it. It was neon green with a lavender, like a purple velvet ribbon, and then that. I think I've done one of each. I've got a wolf. I've got a stag. Oh, wrong way. I've got a little lightning bolt. This is one of my newer ones, little enamel lightning bolt. This is a pendant from a necklace that I had for years, but I hadn't worn it for ages, and it's just like a little cubic zirconia butterfly set in a silver frame. I've got a snack, a danger noodle. I've got a wee ghosty. This was from my Halloween collection. And also from the Halloween collection, a bat. Again, this is like seconds because it's not quite perfect. It's got like a bit of, I don't know, it's got like a little ding in it. So I'm like, well, I don't want that going on a charm. I might as well put it on a pouch. I've got a caduceus. I've got a fox. Little sleeping fox. This one I really love. This is another one of my new ones that I've been putting on some of my Lenormand pouches. Is a question mark. Come on, come on, question mark. This was a sparkly star. Good. Glitter. A rainbow. I've got some different rainbows going on my pouches at the moment. Little kawaii rainbows with a happy face in one cloud and a sad face in the other. But can you see, like, it's got a ding on it, so I took it out. I've got a little dagger. I have a little fairy tale castle. Come on. Oh my god, that's not focusing. I have a key. Like, every charm set has to have some kind of key, right? That's like standard, I think. I have a little lemnis gate. It's nice to have some occult symbolism in there. Of course, I had to have a little hermit's lamp. I'm gonna get some silver ones with these as well, I think. I've got a little gingerbread man. You might remember those from the Christmas collection I did. So what I'll do for the Halloween collection, because I'm planning on doing a Halloween collection and a Christmas collection again this year. I'll try and be more organized about it this time, because I really burnt myself out with those. But I'll do different colors and different charms so that it's different. You know what I mean? I have like a little oyster shell. I really like the 3D dimension to this one. I've got a ship, and this one I had in my collection for ages, but the ship ones never sell. The pouches never sell well, because most people, I think, will obviously want like an oceanic theme. But this, again, this is making me think of Our Flag Means Death. So I was like, mine. I've got a little hand of cards, and I've got a dragon. Are you gonna focus? It doesn't want to focus. Anyway, it's a dragon. It's a dragon. So those, oh, it does make a satisfying noise when you jiggle them. Apologies if anyone's got headphones on. I just realized that would be like proper annoying. So yeah, I'm excited. I think what I'll do, it'll be a work in progress, rather than worrying about having to collect them all and then start working with them. I think I was going about it all wrong, and it was sort of, I overthink stuff a lot. So I think what I will do is work with them, throw out what doesn't work, chuck in some other stuff, try that, see how that works, and just have it be like an ever-evolving, intuitive thing. So I'm excited to have a play. I think my tea will be well and truly steeped now. But it's funny, because I was saying about just now overthinking stuff, and I was talking in the video that I put up yesterday, which is In Search of Softness, and I'm talking about the decks that I have used so far this year, the deck pairings, the tarot and oracle deck pairings that I've used in order to support me whilst feeling very squishy and vulnerable and raw, and you know, just, yeah, it's been rough, right? Especially being a clinically vulnerable person in a pandemic. Society at large, the governments around the world, and just people in general made it very clear that chronically ill and disabled and elderly people can just be collateral damage, because you always hear, oh, but did they have pre-existing conditions? Like, bitch, wearing glasses is classed as a pre-existing condition. Like, I think that people think that it makes them feel safer, but it also is very ableist, because it's like, well, hey, like, to be told relentlessly for 2 years that you are disposable, people see you as collateral damage, and then also to be left behind by everything opening up but no protections being kept in place. So those of us that are, you know, immunocompromised or undergoing cancer treatment, I've got a couple of friends that are undergoing cancer treatment, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really hard to like interact and get back to normal. There isn't going to be this is our new normal, and so we're like the collateral off which everyone else just goes about the rest of their lives. The problem is it's not really working, the head in the sand thing, because we hit one day last week, we hit the highest number of people with COVID since the pandemic began. We had almost something like 4.5 million people with COVID, which is a record because there's nothing in place to protect. but to watch the news, you'd think it's over. So to have that constantly rammed into your brain, your subconscious and your conscious mind, that you are disposable essentially, is damaging, even if you don't realize on like a conscious level. So bye, Candy darling, I didn't see you were going on the school run. Okay, my love, thank you for popping in. So yeah, I think that was part of what I was really struggling with over over Christmas and at the beginning of this year. I'm hoping now that the weather is warming up and stuff will be sort of moving outside somewhat for certain things. I'm hoping that that means I will be able to do certain things. And it's, yeah, Kaz, we have a similar situation here in the UK. And it's really hitting children as well, because obviously kids under 5 are not being vaccinated, and also there's no mitigation to school, so kids keep getting affected again and again and again, and the more you catch it, the more it's going to mess with your immune system, unfortunately. It's really wild being someone who's immunocompromised, seeing people start to deal with immunocompromised issues like themselves, and like post-viral issues. It's like, whoa, like it's awful, because there are people I care about that are really like, someone I know is like had it 4 times, and a couple of people have had it 3 times, and they're really like, oh, they're like, I'm not bouncing back as quick. And I'm like, yeah, because you've now had it. It's a multi-system disease that we don't actually know enough about it. I mean, the 2 to 3% brain shrinkage by itself is worrying before you even start to get to all the other stuff that it does to you. But we're still learning about it. Anyway, I don't want to talk about COVID anymore, because I know I've done it a lot in the past and it's very stressful. And I just wanted to say an explanation of why I think I was feeling so squishy, and it was to then go on to say that I overthink stuff. That was it. And so I've been pulling these cards the last couple of days, the Therapets, because I wanted something squishy. Well, I'm not feeling too bad at this point, but I had wanted to use these decks, this and the Playful Heart Tarot. And yeah, so it sort of came hand in hand. The reason that I was feeling squishy was because of all the to use a D&D phrase, Dungeons and Dragons phrase, I've clearly taken a lot of psychic damage on the COVID front with regards to like the way that it's all just going. Hopefully not actual psychic damage, if you know what I mean. And so, but part of the other thing that I've been feeling really stressed about is, my Etsy shop, and trying to, there's so many ideas that I have for my shop, but I don't have the time or the energy to do them, because I need to just get the regular stuff prepared to put into the shop. And I keep trying to outdo myself. And I spoke about this in my video yesterday. I'm constantly trying to one-up myself with how the variety of sizes that I'm offering for certain decks, the number of pouches that I'm offering, and I'm now starting to put spread cloths in. So, but I'm only in competition with myself. And in fact, I'm still trying to get into a routine, and I'm still at this like push, crash, push, crash. And what I need to do is stick with this every 3 weeks routine and see how it goes, probably for a few months, until I feel like I've gotten a rhythm, and then start worrying about adding different things. And I will probably have, hi Anne, you're right, my love. And hopefully have more mental space, because I will hit like a certain routine and rhythm. I'll have more headspace and more energy, because I will be more used to the routine, and I'll be a bit quicker at certain things, that I will then be able to do the research and development and make new exciting stuff. I have so many ideas. For years I wanted to make a range of like machine sewed ones that I could sell at a slightly lower price point, so that I can make a bit more, because I don't earn a huge amount, like realistically, when I look at what I actually make, if you consider this is a full-time job, most people wouldn't work this much for what I'm earning. But I'm starting a business, so I just have to stick with it. I want this to succeed, so it's just got, you know, grinding away at it. And I'm very fortunate that my partner has a job that can support that. If that ever changes, we'll have to figure something out. I don't know. But yeah, and then you know, there's other things that I want to add in, like casting cloths, and yeah, just all sorts of stuff. Different, like, I have so many ideas for like different kinds of pouches, and then also I was like psyching myself out. I was on a walk earlier today just around the block because I have to like stretch my legs because I'm doing physio for an injury that is ongoing. And yeah, I was like, I had these ideas for these certain types of pouches that I've wanted to do for ages that use like recycled materials and things like that. I've wanted to do it for ages. I remember telling Simon at the Hermit's Cave about it about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. I'm like, oh, I've got this idea for this. And I'm like, oh, but will it look like a Kelly Bear pouch? And part of me is like, my pouches have such a distinct look to them that then will people want pouches that don't look exactly like the ones that I already make? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to stretch myself creatively and offer new and exciting things, but also I'm worried about it, people going, well, that's just not a Kelly Bear pouch, even though it is, because I would have made it. So all that is to say is that I overthink everything, and actually I need the therapets, because the one that I had yesterday, the card that I had yesterday was, well, it's supportive because that's the whole point of the deck, that it was very much about how anxiety lies, and it does, right? But the card that I got today, and I shared it over on my Instagram, is you are doing enough, it's going to be okay. And the tarot deck I pulled out was the Happy Tarot, because I'm using the Playful Heart for my week ahead reading, so I've got that out. I didn't want to use a deck that didn't have all the cards in it, so I took out my Happy Tarot. See, this is one of my ideas. Actually, speaking of, I've got, this is my Happy Tarot, and I used cereal packets to fuse little die cut hearts. You can't really see, but there's also iridescent rainbow sequins. And then I treated that fused plastic with the material as one layer, and then I also used a layer of felt, and I like blanket stitched it together. Oh my god, though, this is so difficult to work with. It's really fiddly to sew, such a pain, but I love how it looks, and it's made from recycled stuff. I use recycled felt made from plastic bottles in my pouches because it's vegan and it's recycled. I'm then using recycled cereal bag. The hearts are cut out of scraps of felt that I keep from making my pouches so that I don't waste the scraps. And then, you know, and the sequins, I've just had the sequins for years, so I've just thrown some sequins in there. So it's like, and I love it so much. This is my Happy Tarots in here. So I thought I'll pull a tarot card and I'll pull one of the therapets. So the tarot card that I pulled is the 10 of Swords. And these are like cute little wooden play swords in the Happy Tarot. Is it going to focus? Come on. Come on. Focus. There we go. And it does look a bit like, you can see that there's like a Coca-Cola spilt on the floor there in front of this little character. And it does look very much like they've had an utter tantrum. They've eaten too much sugar. They've had an utter tantrum and thrown themselves on the floor. And it felt, it was saying, you're doing it to yourself, because it's swords, it's air. It's the old brain box, right? It's your thoughts, it's your ideas. And I have so many ideas swirling around and so much anxiety. And I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. And this ties back to my week ahead reading that I did yesterday. Again, I talk about that in the video that I uploaded yesterday about searching for softness. Also, if you want a little wee look at my tarot journal and a bit of a rant about tarot journaling, you can, that's also in there. And there's chapters. If you just want to go to a specific section, you can just jump to whatever bit. You don't have to watch the whole faff of video. It's fairly long. But yeah, it was a bit like, you do it to yourself. No one else is putting this pressure on. The great expectations we place upon ourselves, and then, you know, and then I got this. Look, you're doing enough. It's going to be okay. Like, bitch, you've almost got all the stuff ready for the next shop drop. But what I like to do is then also have a bunch of pouches cut and sewn for the following shop drop, because what I'm trying to do is get myself ahead so that I have the room mentally and physically and energy wise, to like make new and interesting things. So yeah, I think the cards that I keep getting in like my weekly readings and like little oracle card pulls are like saying you need to just slow your roll, just settle into this routine for now, and then just slowly add new things. I mean, last week in my last drop, I added 2 different Lenormand pouch sizes. It's a new pouch size for standard decks, but the standard decks that are a bit thicker. So that was a new pouch size. I added in a new pouch size for the 25th anniversary edition of the Enchanted Tarot. I added pouches in for the True Heart Intuitive Tarot because that deck comes in a big box, and it's really, if you want to store it, you have to kind of, if you want to use it and store it somewhere other than the box so it's more accessible, you need to have a bag for it. So I was like, I wanted one for my own, so then I made other ones for the shop. And then I also put in the double pouches, and I put in spread cloth. So that is 7, other than my usual standard pouches, I had 7 new items. That's quite a lot to drop. So I'm like, let's just stick with that lot for now. And then we'll just add other stuff as we go. Although I did want to add a Next World tarot sized spread pouch as well, because I want to make one for my own copy, because I have the indie version and the box is getting a bit ratty, and I'm like, oh, I don't want it to fall apart. I apologize if I'm going a mile a minute. I'm very aware. It's something that I beat myself up about. Again, it's something I beat myself up about when I get off of lives or just chats with people on Zoom or whatever, because I do get so hyperactive. But after this, I will like completely crash. Whenever I've done those like tests online for whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, I always come out as an ambivert. So I like interaction and I get energized by it. But once it's over, I will crash and I need to recharge. Like it's weird. I'm like bang right in the middle. I'm going to go through the chat and see if there's anything interesting going on. That sounded really weird. See if you've got any interesting comments regarding the charms and things, is what I meant. Like, I want to see if you use charm. See, in my head I know what I mean, but when I say it out loud, it's like you need more context for what you've just said, Kelly, because it sounds fucking rude. What I mean to say is anything interesting, I should have finished the sentence, about charm casting, what you folk like to use, or so on. The hyperactivity, it's a problem. Okay, let's go back up. We've got people saying howdy to each other. I got back up to Shauna's comment about the charm switch. Isabel saying hi. The pom-pom, yeah, that was cute. The pom-pom is genius, so cute. I love pom-poms. Does anyone else here just like really like pom-poms? I don't know why. I like the little fluffy ones. I like the ones that I like, the handmade yarn ones. Just love pom-poms. I've got a whole board on Pinterest just called Pom-Pom Mania, and it's all just pom-pom stuff, like pom-pom crafts. Heather, hello, darling. The one ring. Yeah, that's how I see that ring. My precious. So see the good solid meanings in all of those charms, says Tammy. Yeah. That little coffin I would buy was. Oh, you would you, Sandra? Do you so much? I think what I would do if I made it again, though, because I just did, it's a bit puffy because I was being lazy. I would probably do a separate panel for the back so that it's got more of a square coffin shape. It's a bit chunky and puffy, and then I would probably fill it with wire wool so that it kind of like sharpens your pins. This has just got like stuffing in it, like monster stuffing. I don't know what you call it. I always call it monster stuffing. I don't know what it's actually called. Toy stuffing. Why do I call it monster stuffing? It must be linked back to something in my brain. You two have the same last name. How fun. Who has the same last name? Shauna. Who? Oh, there's another Foley. Heather Foley. Where's the other Foley? Did I miss that? I've missed something about there being a double Foley situation going on. Carrie Powers read that. That was Veronica's comment about the doobly. And the doobly about the casting sheets. See what I mean? I need to articulate. I get too excited. I hate it. I'm like, I beat myself up afterwards about it. I use journey tokens. I like to throw them on top of cards. I see you do use yours with cards. I really want to do charm casting, but haven't started collecting any charms yet, says Exploring Tarot. It's one of those things you could probably start with like 10 to 15 charms would be enough, right? And then you can just build on it from there. And just, I think also if you start with 10 to 15 charms, I mean, I've got more than that here, clearly. It makes it less overwhelming when you're like, and also I think what I would do is I wouldn't use all of these and just chuck them down. I think what I would do is I would swirl them around, grab a handful, then throw them down. I think Kelly Fitz does that with like her journey tokens. I use that cloth from Kelly F, says Tammy. You might like to check out Fiona, Global Village Witch. She does some work on charm oracles as well. I think I might have watched one of her videos at the weekend, Isabel, but I will pop a note down. Oh, I've got a note here that says laboratory. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about, you know, about how the pressures that we put on ourselves. Global Fiona, Global Village Witch. That's a good name for a channel. Because the tagline on my Etsy shop used to be, sorry to keep going on about Etsy, but obviously like it's taking up like most of my brain space, my time and my energy right now, so it's like hard to avoid it. I don't have anything else going on in my life. It used to be welcome to my creative laboratory, because the idea of the reason I started that shop, before I was making pouches, the pouches came after, because people were like, oh, they're cute, would you make them? And I was like, okay, because I was making them for myself and for friends, just presents for friends, and for myself for my own decks. Yeah, it was a creative project to just make a pouch for my Tower of the Magical Forest that I trimmed, and I took it bloody everywhere with me. So when I was putting it in my bag in a tuck box and I trimmed it, it was rattling around. The box obviously has a bit of give to it then, because the cards are not filling up the whole space of the box. The box was getting dinged up. It was annoying me that the cards were rattling around in there. Like, right, I'm just going to make a pouch. The pouch I made, I ended up throwing it away because I finally replaced it last year and made a new one. Was looking in hindsight as a piece of dog shit. I did show it in a video years ago when I first made it. But it's basically all I'm trying to say is this whole pouch situation is like a craft project for my Tower of the Magical Forest that has gotten way out of control, clearly. What the fuck? But it was welcome to my creative laboratory, and I would make stuff, and I would always want to be happy with the things that I've made. I wouldn't put anything on my shop that I think is poo. I want to make stuff that I like or would wear or would gift to someone that I care about. Wouldn't sell tat to you, or what I don't think is, some people might look at my pouches and think they're tat, but it's subjective, right? I don't think they're tat. I really like them, obviously, because I wouldn't make them otherwise. But the whole idea was that I could make whatever I want. I was making hair accessories and brooches and shoe clips and all sorts of random stuff and flower things and weird stuff, bits of art and one-of-a-kind things, and I just whack them up. But now it's like mostly just pouches, and that's fine. But I feel like I've lost the joy from being able to just experiment and go, oh, let's slip a couple of those things on the shop and see what happens. And some of the things that I would put up were just literally just one of a kind things. And then once it was gone, it was gone. And I want to be able to bring that back in. And I've said this before, I love making pouches, I really do, but I don't want to just make pouches. I think I do want to keep to magic-y, witchy, tarot-y, art witch adjacent stuff, because that's just what I'm interested in. So any art that I make is probably going to be kind of spooky or magical anyway, you know. And does that make sense? But if I want to make like a one-of-a-kind item or piece of jewelry or whatever, I want to be able to put that up, and hopefully people will accept that as something that I also do. Does that make sense? I don't want to be pigeonholed. Because I do notice that when I put other stuff in occasionally, the pouches will go, which is fair enough. That's what people go to my shop for. But other stuff will like hang around, and I'm like, not always, depending on what it is. And it's like, wah, wah. Oh well. Anyway, let's see. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. That's not like, oh, poor me. It just means I'm trying to work out what it is I'm trying to do with this shop and what I want out of life creatively, because the dream is to be able to be paid to make things that I want to make and to see people around the world enjoy them. But it also has to bring me joy, because as soon as I start making stuff that without the joy, the heart of what I do goes out of it. Because, and that's the problem with your passion becoming your job. You know, I loved fashion. I ended up working in fashion. That's what I trained in. That's what my degree is in. And in the end, I was working so hard for this designer that I ended up not enjoying being around that whole sort of fashion and style thing anymore for a long time. And I wasn't really sewing stuff for myself, like clothing wise, or, you know, and I'd lost that passion for doing the dressmaking for myself. Like I couldn't even look at my sewing machine when I got home, because I was surrounded by them in the workroom for work every day, because my passion became my job. Then I retrained and I did hair and makeup, because I was also really obsessed with hair and makeup. I don't know if you've noticed, I quite enjoy expressing myself physically. I always have. Fashion, hair, makeup, jewelry, it's all just a thing. It's just part of who I am. And that started to lose its luster, and that combined with my illnesses, just it was getting more and more difficult. Obviously the pandemic put the kibosh on that, and I officially closed my business down, my hair and makeup business, last month for good, because it was the end of the tax year and the start of a new one. And I like cut off, I ended all my domains, closed my website, everything. It's all gone, it's all done. And I was surprised about how emotional I felt. I ended up having a really good cry after that, even though I'd made the decision ages ago, and it had informed a lot of the people that I worked very closely with for the last decade before. I was surprised, but what a reaction I had later that evening, once I'd put the official announcements out across all my socials and I'd finally closed all my websites and pages and everything down. That gut punch was like, oof, like I really felt it, because I had built that from the ground up and did pretty well at it. But yeah, I can't do that anymore physically with my body. Just I can't. And then just physically at the moment, because it's not safe. So, but now I have the chance to try something else, and I'm going to give it a go. I'm probably just waffling nonsense at this point. I apologize. I'm looking forward to watching that video on softness. Haven't had the chance yet. Oh, thank you, Isabel. I've had some really beautiful responses to that video, actually. It's been really lovely hearing some people open up about their struggles at the moment and the idea of softness and using tarot for support. It's just been really nice, and I'm glad that people are getting something out of it. And yeah, there's some gentleness in there, but there's a like I said, there's a tarot journal rant in there as well for people. And I don't mean I'm angry about tarot journaling. I mean I just sort of rant about what it means to tarot journal and how tarot journaling can be more accessible for people. I work with young people in schools, and not only are they getting infected, but their social skills have really hit. The groups I meet are so different post-COVID, says Isabel. I can imagine. God, you look great. That's half the battle sometimes. Self-care is so important. That's the thing, though. I might look great, but I don't always feel great, and I don't always do the self-care. And sometimes the self-care isn't just like, I feel like sometimes, yeah, getting up, getting dressed, putting on some makeup and some jewelry, doing my hair, that is part of my self-care to help with my depression. The other bit is doing all the other stuff, like making sure I don't drink too much caffeine, making sure that I get enough sleep, making sure that that I'm showering regularly, making sure that I feed myself, making sure that I'm doing my physiotherapy, making sure my bills are paid. The joy quotient. Therapet. When you release a new version of pouches, you can increase the price of the OG pouch and sell the new version at existing prices, says Kaz. I'm going to see, because I really struggle with pricing, honestly. Again, like over the weekend and yesterday, I saw pouches that were machine sewn that were being sold at the same price as mine or higher, and I'm like, am I just under? I don't know. I just don't know people. I don't like again. I don't know. I don't want to have spoken about this. Even I'm bored of thinking about it and talking about it. I'm sure you lot are. I fully understand your quandary. I feel very unconfident making something and offering for sale. Will it be acceptable, good enough, or not always land on? Oh, Anne, your stuff is beautiful. Anne, for those of you who don't know Anne is a maker herself. That bear that you sent to Simon, was it a bear or a rabbit? I can't remember now. I apologize. Was just so, like, it looked like a family heirloom. It looked like it had been tenderly passed down from generation to generation. It had such a historic, like, it felt like it had history inside it. Like, it was just so beautiful, Anne. And the pouches, the bags that you make, like, you know, gorgeous. Go for it. I think your stuff's stunning, Anne. Never feel. See, this is the thing. I'm giving you the advice, but yeah, I don't take it on myself. This is what my friend Natalie says, because she will always big me up. She's a burlesque performer, and she calls me her wifey. And my friend Tiggs, who's a photographer, a burlesque and cabaret photographer, and they're my work wifeys. We work together quite a lot, and we would always big each other up. And I remember that when Natalie would big me up, and I'd be like, oh no, you know, and she's like, no, we big each other up because sometimes we struggle to big ourselves up, so we support each other. And I just that just stuck with me. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. So bye, Tammy Pie. Tammy's probably already gone by now. God, there, that was like a while ago, nearly 20 minutes ago. Absolutely, but all will be fine. I'm a bit nervous as well. I'm currently in the process of opening a shop as well. Sell my crochet pouches. Oh, that's exciting! Exploring tarot crochet. I am in awe of people that can like knit and crochet anything that's more than like a scarf, like just a straight line. I'm like, how? It's like, to me that is witchcraft. That is witchcraft. Exploring tarot. I apologize. I hope I don't know. I don't know what name to call you. So I'm just using your handle. But yeah. Yeah, it is nerve-wracking putting yourself out there, because those of us that are, you know, that craft, we really put our hearts into these items, and it's nerve-wracking to see what people think of them, because you've literally made them with your hands and your skills and you've put a little piece of yourself. That sounds like gross, like you've put a little piece of yourself, you know, I mean, metaphorically, you put a big piece of yourself, piece of your heart into what you're making. I just enjoy the creative process. Always happy if I can gift as well as receive. So Kelly Bag's really creative and beautiful. Thank you, Anne. I do as well. I love trying new things. This is the problem. I have tried so many different hobbies and so many different crafting. There's so many different things that I still want to try or go back to that I haven't done for ages. This is why I would love the dream to have like a studio, an actual studio space just full of like sewing machines and paints and fabric and all sorts of stuff, and I could just make to my heart's content. And that has been my dream since I was a child. Like my grandmother, my maternal grandmother would say to me, if I ever won the lottery, I would buy a big house and make sure that you had a room that you could just a studio for yourself where you could just make whatever you want to your heart's content. Like, that's what she still says it to me. She's been telling me this since I was a kid. She'd be like, well, if I ever win that lottery. Bless. Jennifer, Rebecca, hello. Let's see. Woodthrush Cottage is here. I haven't been working since January. Otherwise, my Kelly would. Oh, please don't feel like I don't want people to feel like they have to buy my things. It's fine. Yes, that would be cool to put other things in your shop, says Sandra. Charm bags. Yeah, I'm actually working on a dice bag, charm bag thing, because that's where it started. I was like, because I've got a bag with runes in, but I don't like the bag that in, and I was like, oh, maybe I should do them. But that's how it starts, right? And then I was like, oh, if I did that, I can make one for charm. So that's what I'm in the process also of trying to figure out, is something interesting and different for like a charm / dice bag. Also, because I play D&D and like other tabletop RPGs, so to me, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting, my dice are not fitting in the thing that I keep them in, and I think I need a dice bag, and I'm like, well, of course I'll just make one. So that's already my line of thinking, Isabel, for like dice slash charm slash rune slash whatever bags. That's what I should call them, right? Slash bags. Totally makes sense. I'm excited to new direction. Well, it's not so much new direction as just an expansion. The path is widening rather than diverging. So many hair accessories. Last time I literally set up a store to give away outside the house. Oh my god, I love making hair accessories. Like loads of the flowers that you see in my hair that I wear in my videos, I would say about 90% of them I have made myself. I have literally underneath my desk in my Kallax, there is a box in one of the cubby holes that is just flowers, just artificial flowers. Yeah, I actually, artificial hair accessories was one of the things that I would make and sell as part of my hair and makeup services. Back when I first started doing hair and makeup, I was like a mobile stylist, and I would go to fairs and I'd go to events and I would do vintage hair and makeup, and I would also have a stall of like my handmade accessories that people could buy that I would then like put in their hair. So it was like a little add-on. So I had loads of hair accessories. That's so cool. I love making hair accessories. This one actually that I've got, incidentally, now I say that, is a bought one, but yeah, easily 90% of the shit you see in my hair, I've like literally just glued a fucking clip to it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Like literally, you can just grab anything that's light enough and like visible enough for your hair and just whack it. I'm just trying to find something. Of course, I don't have anything to hand that I can grab, but yeah, you could legit just fucking just stick a clip on it. Stick a clip on it. It's fine. Yeah, as long as you're enjoying yourself, don't overthink it. Oh my god, exactly, that is my problem. I heard that Etsy. Oh my god, Etsy is like ripping us off left, right, and center. They can take up to like 31 or 32%. Like for every pouch that I sell, like I sold a cloth, an altar cloth, a spread cloth, a daily spread cloth that holds between 3 and 5 tarot cards. I had that up for £28, and like I think Etsy took like £5 or £6 for that. Do not compare your items to others. Yeah, that's the problem. But people will send me like pictures of people doing other things, and I'm like, oh, I don't look, because it sends me into like an anxiety spiral of like I'm not good enough, and people will go for, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Loads of us have hundreds of decks. There's enough. Like if I bought a pouch or made a pouch for every one of my decks, I could have all kinds of creators decks. You know, pouches. Like there's room for us all. It's also just feeling like those that are making machine sewed ones and charging the same and can make thousands of sales. And there's me like like slowly hand sewing. Even though I've gotten faster, it still like takes a certain amount of time to make one. I don't know. I've made a rod for my own bag. I'm glutton for punishment, clearly. They do sell out in red, not quite a red hot minute. It has got to the point where it's calmed down a bit. So once the shop goes live, some stuff will still be in there. Where I tend to, if there's, I will close my shop I put it live on a Sunday night, 7 p.m, and I'll close it by 8 or 9 p.m on the Wednesday morning if there's still stuff in there, because I want to limit how many times I'm going into the post office because COVID. And actually, I often have to close my shop because there will still be a couple of items. I've noticed, and it's really funny, it's always the pouches that I think, oh, this will sell straight away. I love this pouch. It's always like the last one to go. So the previous couple of shop updates that I did, barring last one, there was stuff still left. So when I closed it, there was like 2 or 3 pouches left. So it's not as much of a mad. They're not selling out in 5 minutes like they used to, is what I'm saying, which is understandable because I had a break for a year, so people were like chomping at the bit, and that's what I want. I want to be able to be doing it every 3 weeks, so people know, well, if I miss this one, there's another one in 3 weeks, and that I'm adding in more rather than 12 to 16. I'm trying to add at least 24 items, at least so that there's not only is it, you know, that it's coming regularly, but also that there was going to be a larger chunk. You know, if I'm adding to that's if I was adding 12 in at a time, 24 is obviously like twice as much stuff, twice as many pouches, 20 at least 24 pouches, and then any other stuff that might change. But I'm just gonna, that's my what I've set myself in my head. Meow meow meow. Oh, it was a bunny. It was a bunny. Yes, that and Kaz isn't an wonderfully skilled crafter creator. Oh my god, are you kidding me, Anne? Do you make bears? Because I'm a bear. Oh my god, I'm crying. Sorry, it's just so beautiful. Oh my god, they do, Christy. Why must I go to Ditto when I'm that sick? I've missed something. I've missed something about being sick. Did I miss something? I'm scrolling back up. I can't find what I've missed. Anyway. I'm the person that can only crochet a straight line. I can't even crochet anything. I can't even, my friend Ellen got me to try and crochet a square and it was so wonky. She's like, I don't even know what is going on with you. Like knitting, I can just about knit a straight scarf. Well, I haven't done it for a long time. I probably couldn't now, but crocheting is just like, what is this magic? Oh my god. I was disability for sight reasons and they're afraid of mental illness. Oh, do you know what the stigma of mental illness really is? Oh, you can call me Sandy. My name is Sandra, but I go by Sandy currently. Okay, Sandy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's awesome. Ones, not wads. Physically clean yourself. You must be able to work. Oh my god, I hate that. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm so enjoying the creating process at the moment. Just so intimidated by the whole shipping. Yeah, it's a lot. That's also why I stick with Etsy, because they do all that for you. It's just the fact that they've pretty much doubled their prices in the last couple, like 2-3 years, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this much. Like, come on, guys. And they're making record number sales as well, so it takes the piss. Okay, you'd hate me then. I have an art student sewing room, very blessed. I don't hate you. I'm envious, but I don't hate you. It's the dream. It's something to work towards, isn't it? You've got to have some goals, right? Some, like when I see Candy and she's got like, she has a garden and a studio space. I'm like, oh, I love seeing her working in her space, and I don't hate her. I really enjoy seeing her creating in her space or sharing her garden with us, you know. I stay in my bed in my PJs every day. Yeah, sometimes I have to do that as well. I live in PJs these days. Do you know what? Actually, I was struggling with that a lot and just hanging out on my pajamas a lot. And then I'm like, I can feel, because I was really struggling at the beginning of the year. And, you know, I'm like, when did I last shower? Oh, I can't remember. You know what I mean? It was getting to the point where I hadn't even like washed my face. I was cleaning my teeth in like, I was cleaning my teeth at night. I was sometimes going through the whole day without cleaning my teeth. I was not getting dressed. I was not doing, not washing my hair, like just feeling really, really rough. And I'm like, it just happens sometimes. And I know that will happen again at some point. I will be in that space. And I think it's okay. Sometimes you just get in it, but it always swings back round. And here I am feeling okay at the moment. Life, it's, you know, it's really tricky. Hey Stephanie, my love, you all right? Pom-poms on clips. Yep, I've had pom-poms on clips. The last set of pom-poms on clips I made, I ended up giving to a friend because she was like, oh my god, those are so cute. I had them as in I was wearing them as if they were like bear ears. And we had met up at the park for a walk, and I was like, she's like, oh my god, they're so cute, and I like just literally took them out of my hair and gave them to her because she loved them, and she's like, no, I can't. I'm like, honestly, I will just make more. I haven't made more, but I can, when the mood strikes me, I can just make more. But yeah, I've done pom-poms on clips before as well. It's really fun. And like different little ears on clips. I've made those for friends before and for myself. I give, yeah, loads of times if a friend says, oh, I really like your whatever, you know, whatever, like certain thing, and I've got and I've made it myself, and I've got like, I know I've got enough to make another one if I need to. I'll be like, here you go. I made like a really lovely like flower crown thing that a few years ago a friend at a party was just like, oh my god, I love your flower crown, and I like just gave it to her. It was made out of like fake flowers. I guess I could make flower crowns if I get some die cuts for some dies for flowers, making flowers. I can use some of the scraps from the felt that I have to make little felt flowers and attach them to flower crowns. But loads of people are making those, but it's a fun project, I mean, to make, instead of using fake flowers, like fake flowers that are made to look realistic. I mean fake flowers made out of felt instead, which don't look realistic. I think Roma will pick up from your house for a small fee. Maybe that might help with post office wise. It's a real pain having to go to post each day, so I totally get that. Yeah, no, I think I prefer just I like to be able to get to the post office because it gets me like stretches my legs. It's a bit of a further walk, but also like when I went in there last week, I was the only one in there. I walked because I've gotten to the point where I can kind of time it for when they're quite empty. So yeah, I wear a mask. I wear a PPF2 mask or a KN, an N95, really well fitted. And yeah, and I try to be as quick as possible. If there's a big queue, I will wait outside because obviously no one else is wearing masks these days, and then I will go in. Obviously it doesn't get rid of the air that's, you know, obviously COVID is airborne, so it's like in the air, but at least there's not people actively possibly breathing more out whilst I'm in there. Do you keep a note of which color combos hang about to the end of the sale? Do you know what I've really noticed? I've noticed that red pouches, I love red pouches. To me, red is such a classic occult color, but red pouches, they tend to be ones that are left behind a lot of the time. And I think what I think it is that I really struggle to capture the color clearly in photographs. I'm trying to get better with my photos and like making them adequately sort of capture the color that I'm seeing in front of me. But with certain colors it's really difficult, and red is one of those. And sometimes the purples seem to come up a little bit more blue, and it doesn't matter what I do with the editing. And I know that it's because I'm using my phone to take pictures, but you know, I can't afford to get a fancy like camera, and I wouldn't even know what I was doing with it anyway. We're just taking baby steps. I'm slowly I'm doing slowly little improvements, little bit by bit by bit. Talking about knitting and crocheting. Always manage to get up and dress, but the stress of choosing what to wear can wear me out for a while. I need to dress for work, but leggings are a godsend. Oh, Isabel. Oh, yeah, been there. Kristen Louise, hello, my dear. You all right? Knowing that the pendulum will swing the other direction and days may be more challenging. I think part of me knowing that will happen, just knowing that it's going to happen, means that when it does happen, it's less of a, like, I think some people think mental health is like a straight up trajectory, and like you might have a bout of depression, especially people that have never had depression before. And find themselves in that situation, and then they're like, well, I'm better now, and and it's like those of us that have a lifetime of depression, anxiety know that, like, you know, there are peaks and troughs, and that's okay. And I think just knowing that that's going to happen, I think it's a very sort of stoic approach, in the sense of the Stoics, the philosophy, like Seneca, for example, where you know that if you are prepared for the worst, it means that when it happens, you are more prepared for it, if that makes sense. Obviously, that's like a double thingy, but yeah. What is your shop called? My shop is called Kelly Bear Art. Oh, that's another thing I meant to say. It's no longer called Miss Honey Bear, which was my burlesque name, which I then just went into my shop name. I've actually changed it officially now to Kelly Bear Art. And also, so yeah, Kelly Bear Art. And that's also my art. That's also my art Instagram handle, which will be the same, but with an @ So if you want to follow, because loads of people follow me on my like personal Instagram, where I do post some tarot stuff and like Dr. Nomi and what I'm eating, what most people do on their personal one. But my art Instagram, that's where I share sneak peek behind the scenes of what I'm working on. I'll give peeks of new charms, new fabrics, new colors, new ribbons that I've got in, new projects that I'm working on, pouches that will be coming up in the next shop drop, all that kind of stuff. I do sometimes cross post to my personal, just because I have so many more people following me on my personal. And sometimes people say, if I don't post on there, like I've done experiments where I haven't posted about my shop restock before on my personal one, and some people go, you never let us know. And I'm like, I did on my art one, but obviously my art one has less than a third of the people that follow me on my personal one, which makes sense. The personal one I've had for 10 years, the business one I've had for much less, and it was dormant pretty much for a year because I didn't do anything for the first year of COVID in the shop. So oh, thank you, Shauna, that's very sweet of you. Anyway, I was planning to do some readings, but actually I've got my hot water bottle and it's not as hot as it was, and my cramps are absolutely kicking my tits. Well, it's kicking my uterus. My uterus is kicking my ass. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I need to take some more painkillers. I need to redo my hot water bottle. I'm going to make myself another herbal tea, and I'm going to try and sew some double pouches. I cut out some double pouches this morning for the shop drop. So that's my space now. What's my space? I totally get that about color. I tend to take photos outside, so a lot depends on the light. Yeah, I try to get as much natural light as I can in all my photos as well, Stephanie, because the quality of the light has that shows colors better, but it still doesn't always translate, does it? Even the colors sometimes photograph odd. I find Adobe Lightroom, yeah, I don't have Adobe, and I wouldn't know what I'm doing with it. I'm very like tech phobic. I'm not very good with tech. I'm slowly learning though, but thanks for the tip, Stephanie. Oh my god, yeah. So I was going to do some like therapeutes, like readings for people who wanted some softness, but maybe I will try and do that later in the week, depending on how much I end up getting done work wise. So if I come back doing a live saying I'm going to do therapeutes readings for people, then that means that I've managed to get a decent amount of work done. And if I come back doing a live to do therapeutes reading, it could also mean that I'm struggling to focus and I'm procrastinating. Who knows? Which one will it be? Will I even be back this week? Who knows? Oh, actually, I need to edit and upload schedule. I've got another video that I'd filmed yesterday that I hadn't put up yet because I need to edit it. And that one is a tag response to Mags Black's Tarot Geek, Tarot Nerd hashtag. So I've already filmed that as well. Whether I would like a double pouch. Do you know what? I did think about that. If you've got Oak Ash and Thorns and Smoke Ash and Embers, do you want double pouches? And I was also thinking it'd be quite nice to do pouches that people could put like their Thoth and Smithwaite in, or Smithwaite and Marseille in, and I don't know, I'm having ideas. Are they really in pouches? I'm bad. Oh. DM me on Facebook when to send it. Oh my god, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, I will do that. So yeah, I'm gonna go because I've taken up enough of your precious time. I'm always incredibly appreciative of you folks that come in and spend some time here with me. I'm aware that time is a precious commodity that we don't have a huge amount of a lot of the time. So the fact that you choose to spend it on here with me while I chat absolute bananas, yeah, so I hope you all have a lovely rest of week. I may or may not see you on another live to see how I get on, and yeah, take it easy, look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.